You are listening to the USDN on the DFPN.
It's a trap!
What is up, everybody, and welcome to the United States Department of Nerds, where we are for the people, by the people, and of the people. And tonight, the shadows are whispering, and the ink is bleeding, and we're cracking open the coffin to all things horror comics. We're talking from Boom Studios to all the indies you can think of. And as always, I'm the host, and joining me tonight is my good friend, an artist and talented individual, is Francisco Hnilo. We call him Fran. You can call him Fran as well, because he's a great guy who is always doing his part down in Argentina. See what I did there?
Thank you for having me.
That was my Starship Troopers reference for everybody. So, bro, we talked about this show when you were on last time, earlier this year, when we were talking about Vitalirium.
Oh, yeah.
And it just come about, and we keep in touch. We talk, probably, at least once or twice a month sometimes. And I was like, I built this busy schedule for October. I wanted to get a lot of indie horror comics interviews completed and done to stay with the theme of the month. And I was like, I can't forget about Fran because we want to do this show together.
Oh, yeah.
And here we are. Fran, how you been? I know you're going through a move right now and you're keeping busy, but what are you working on right now?
Well, I'm still working on Vitalirium. I'm finishing it. I think I might actually finish the next issue today, or rather tonight. Which is cool because it's a very horror cosmic. It has some very cosmic horror fueled sequences in it that I'm very proud of. They are I think they are the best stuff that I've drawn ever.
And now, is this the issue 0 or the issue 2?
This is issue 0.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I know what we're talking about then.
Yeah, I got to paint some stuff in a radically different style and play a lot with the sort of horror genre, which I love, and which is basically why
That's why we're here tonight, man.
Yeah, we arranged for this episode because we share the same passion for horror stories, horror comics in particular. I'm an avid listener of horror podcasts while I'm working. So huge consumer of horror media in general. So I'm excited. I'm pumped for it.
Well, dude, let's dive into. I don't want to say they're the heavyweight right now, but they may be the heavyweight of horror comics, and that is going to be Boom Studios.
Oh yeah.
And we'll do one that I know you just picked up yourself, and that's going to be Not Afraid by Jude Ellison S. Doyle, who, I mean, this story is like Children of the Corn and The Omen.
Yeah.
Had a beautiful evil baby, and that's what this story is basically. I know you haven't had a chance to read it yet, but I know you're excited to pick this one up.
I only got my hands on it like yesterday. I haven't had the chance to read it, but I had gotten to read like a small preview, because the funny thing, the artist or one of the artists is from Argentina too. So I had
He
him
is. Yep.
on Instagram. I was following him, and he shared it. And I got to read sort of the preview, and it was like, okay, this is the sort of horror that I'm really interested in. It's very atmospheric, very like just from the preview alone, you could tell that it wasn't just uh, the comic book equivalent of a jump scare. It's more like the atmospheric, feel
It really
bad.
is. I mean, you get like pictures of like plagues happening, the ground burning where this child walks. It's just like Children of the Corn or The Omen or something like that. And it is like the town itself is basically scared shitless of this child and the terror that he brings with him every time he is out. So, and basically what we're going to do tonight, I don't want to want to put this out here now, is we're going to basically list off comic books that we hope everybody,
Gets to read, right?
and to read. And I kept it more modern. That way, if you did want to go to your local comic book shops and pick this title up, you could, or you could still get it off the manufacturer's website. That's why I'm going to break it down each one by publisher. That way, you know who you're going to be looking for when you go into your comic book shop or what website you need to go check out to find certain titles. If there's something here that you are interested in, as always, you can drop your favorite horror comment or comic books down in the comments for all of us. And more than likely, we may have already read them, or it may be something new to us that we want to read. But I wanted to put that out there now before we got too deep into our list, because I did make a pretty extensive list. And up next on that list is a book that is about to come to its conclusion, and that is Grimm by Stephanie Phillips, also from Boom Studios. Fran, have you read this one yet?
I hadn't even heard about it till you told me about it. It looks. Let me get it straight, because I only heard about it now. It feels more like it's got more of a superhero-ish feel to it. Like there's a Grim Reaper who's
There's
right.
multiple Grim Reapers,
Hmm.
and basically it's supernatural. It borderlines like the horror, sci-fi, like a thriller almost.
Okay, okay.
But the horror element comes from the fact that these are Grim Reapers who do reaping, and the Reapers of souls, but they're just like people, They have their own issues. It's basically like 90210 of the Grim Reapers. It basically gives us their stories and what the traumas that they go through, the reason why they're in hell and that kind of stuff.
Oh,
So
nice.
it's really fun. It's a fun series. It's really good to read. They're stopping on issue 25, which I believe comes out the end of this month or early next month. I can't remember which, but I got a feeling it is going to be a fun finale. And you can get this one on trade paperbacks, which I would highly recommend you doing versus trying to track down individual copies, because this book was pretty popular and that maybe get kind of expensive if you try to track down individual issues of it.
I'm going to sort of throw a small recommendation here, because sort of this description that you gave me of Green reminds me of a separate comic book that is sort of. I'm guessing it's not very well known in the US, but I know that it's being published by IDW, different publisher, but it's sort of threads the same lines as what you're describing for Grimm, and it's called Angela de la Muerte. Like,
Okay.
and it's by a writer artist named Salvador Sanz, who's from Argentina, casually, and it's this story about this sort of they are an agency. It's basically about two agencies that are fighting each other, and there's this group of people who sort of are able to send their souls into different bodies and sort of inhabit them.
Oh,
And there's
damn.
this grim,
That's really interesting.
and there's this Grim Reaper sort of character that is able to kill them in spite of them being in different bodies and being sort of
So he's able to kill the Reaper inside the body.
exactly. There's this Grim Reaper character that is able to kill these these displaced souls
Okay.
that are inhabiting different bodies, which in theory he shouldn't be able to. And it's this sort of spy thriller horror story that I think probably falls, if for those who may know about Grimm or may be interested in that sort of story, I think that Angela de la Morte will be right into that same space.
You'll have to send me that. I want to try to track that down. I can work it through with my broken Spanish. But up next for me is going to be one of our personal favorites. I know you're a big fan of this one too, and that's going to be Hello Darkness.
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
And it's got it's various writers, various artists that work on this story. I know R.L. Stine, Robert Hack are some of the big contributors to it. I know James Tynion has contributed to it. Just tons of great artists, tons of great writers work on this book.
And I think my favorite so far of all this, it's still having issues released. I think they released like a Halloween special just a week ago.
They did. It's called Hello Halloween.
Hello
it came
Halloween.
Out last week.
Yeah.
Yes. And it is an anthology series, so it's a little bit more pricey, but it is 110% worth the sticker price on the book because the stories are so good and they extend over multiple volumes of books. And I know the last Hello Darkness had just come out, closed out a couple of these stories from like Robert Hack and R.L. Stine. And I know Francisco Francavilla he's one of the main artists for the R.L. Stine story. So the art is like superb and top notch.
Yeah. And the covers are really great too. I think
dude, it's some of the best covers out there.
I think
100%.
Who's doing the covers for that one? Because I get Paulo Rivera.
There's been so many different artists that work on this book, like on the covers. I think there's like 3 to 5 covers per month, something like that. So they have this amazing rotating thing of artists. I know Jeannie Frism has done covers. Weather Deladera from Something Is Killing the Children has done covers. Robert Hack himself has done covers. Francisco Francavilla has done covers.
Yeah.
I think
Paulo Rivera, which is I'm a fan of his covers in general. Mm-hmm. And they keep having this same character pop up in every cover, this red-haired character.
Yeah, she Jeannie Frism, the way she draws her is absolutely amazing. And I'm a big fan of Jeannie Frism's art to begin with. If I see her name on the cover, it's almost immediately coming home with me because her art is she's up there with Peach Momoko for me. It's like I want that cover.
Yeah, exactly. Which has been your favorite story featured in Hello Darkness so far?
The reoccurring one with R.L. Stine, and then also the reoccurring one with Robert Hack. I can't remember the names of the stories off the top of my head. It was like classic R.L. Stine.
Yeah.
And then the Robert Hack was like, it felt like R.L. Stine and a little Stephen King mitts in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So both those stories have been phenomenal in my opinion. But it doesn't matter. It's just a good book.
You get to choose from a variety of different styles of horror. I think my favorite was the Garth Ennis one.
Okay.
The
Yep.
war. I think the ending I'm not so sold on, even though I get what he was going for. I'm not going to spoil anything, but everything else I felt it was depressing all the way through. I think.
You know,
Depressing horror. I think.
so that's like I didn't put it on the list, but Luana Vecchio's Lovesick, which is about a depressed female who gets through life, gets through her depression and anxiety in her teenage years through murder and domination of men. And it is very much a horror book, but I didn't put it in this one because I tried to. That one is, I wouldn't classify it as PG-13. That one's more of a rated R.
Oh.
So I didn't really list that one, but if you wanted to go more adult, Lovesick is amazing. There's a prequel to it as well. And Luana Vecchio, amazing writer, amazing artist. So she's another one that I put up there on in high regards of just being a phenomenal writer / artist. But next up,
on my reading list.
next up, this show just got announced that it will be a TV series, animated TV series, and also a movie made about this next title. And it's going to be from James Tynion IV. Boom Studios is Something is Killing the Children. And I'm going to group in House of Slaughter, House of Cutter, House of Butcher, because it's all just one big, long story that you could immerse yourself into. And not just a story, it's a world.
Right.
Like there's the Azure arc, the Blue arc. There's so many different arcs to this story already out that you cannot go wrong. And you can literally I recommend picking up the trade paperbacks of this book. Because again, if you try to buy the individual issues of this starting at number 1, before you get to the current story at I think we're on issue 50 or something, you're going to be in debt thousands of dollars trying to track it down. Because it is such a popular book. I wish I was joking. I wish I could say I was joking. But I got really lucky with it. And when I found this book, I was able to get back issues pretty cheap for it. And then it skyrocketed it again. And now it's kind of like on the downturn a little bit. But I know with the announcement of the movie and the animated series that the prices on this book are once again going to skyrocket. That's why I'm recommend everyone, if you want to read this, you definitely want to read the trade paperbacks, and they're out there, then they're available. You can order them on Amazon Prime. You can order them digitally from Boom Studios, but read it before you see it because it is absolutely happening. Something is Killing the Children is getting a TV series and movies.
I haven't gotten to read that one. It's been on my list for a while now, so I'm going to. But I did get to read. Tynion wrote a short story that is set within that universe, and it's actually featured in Hello Darkness, and it's been going on for a while. It's one of the continuing stories since
I think that one's another one that comes to an end either in this last issue of Hello Darkness or the next issue of Hello Darkness. I do know that they're getting ready to kind of do a 100% like new fresh stories and start a new arc of Hello Darkness, I believe, because a lot of those stories are starting to come to an end.
Right. I don't know how he does it, because he consistently puts out lots of high quality horror stories. I know that you have more in your
this whole list could have been just straight up a tribute show to James Tynion, but I didn't want it to be like that, but I could have easily had done it. And just because he's got such a good writing team with him right now, over at Tiny Onion, which is his production company, and they are absolutely on top of their game right now.
Oh yeah.
With House of Slaughter ended finally, which I think he had a co-writer on it that finished out the story with him. and I think she did just a phenomenal job of closing out House of Slaughter. The next book up is going to be so if you're a fan of like the exorcism and stories about exorcisms, this is going to be a good book for you. And it's called When I Lay My Vengeance Upon Thee by Gus Marino. And it takes place in a Caribbean island, I believe, or maybe in an African country. I can't remember which one it is, but there's a Catholic priest there who performs exorcisms for the villages, and they send a new priest to learn the ways of the elder priest and how he does his exorcisms. And now the way he does exorcisms isn't exactly by the book.
Okay.
He has developed his own, I don't want to say evil method, but definitely his own method of doing it. And it was just a phenomenal series. I think it's a 5-issue run. It might actually be out on trade paperback now, but it was just such a fun series. Gus Marino is a fantastic. I feel like he could be out there so much more than what he is because he is that good. But I want to say he also writes books as well, and that's where the majority of his time is spent.
But like he has that background.
Yeah, but it is a very, very damn good series. So if you're a fan of exorcisms and stuff like that, highly recommend When I Lay My Vengeance Upon Thee. And it's just fun to say. Like, that's just a fun title. The way it rolls off your tongue sounds amazing. But next up is one of our favorites from R.L. Stine. It's one of his books called The Graveyard Club, and this one is called Fresh Blood. I believe it was a one-shot just to reintroduce a new Graveyard Club. And I think the Graveyard Club was also a part of Hello Darkness as well at one point.
Yeah, I think so.
And but it's just a fun book. I mean, it's R.L. Stine. You got the creepy subliminal R.L. Stine messages in his story. It takes place in a graveyard, and it reflects back to the original Graveyard Club with the parents. And they're trying to find this other kid's parents who disappeared from the original Graveyard Club. So it's a really fun story. I really enjoyed it. And I can't wait for it to come back out again because it was really, really good.
I think somehow this sort of brought back a recommendation from, it's not exactly a new book. It's actually, I think it's a year or two. It came out like a year or two ago.
Okay.
That sort of, I think Stein actually wrote one issue for, and it's this anthology series where each issue is a separate story. They are all connected by the same element.
Okay.
And it's called The Silver Coin.
Okay.
Fantastic horror book. Of course, there are issues that are better than others, but overall, it's very, very consistent. It features the eponymous silver coin that is sort of, it has this monkey paw magic to it, but it's decidedly more evil. It's like the monkey paw finds meets the One Ring from Lord of the Rings, right? Like people become obsessed about it, and it also sort of fucks up their lives completely. It's very grotesque, sometimes very depressing, other times sort of fun in the gory aspects of it.
Okay. Oh, I like that, dude.
And
that's some of the best stuff.
Yeah, I think if you like Hello Darkness, if you're into R.L. Stine, definitely if you're into R.L. Stine, because I'm certain that he wrote at least one issue. Yeah, that's sort of my recommendation to sort of plug in there.
All right, I got one more from Boom Studios. It literally just came out, I believe, last week, and it is called Marian, Heretic by Teenie Howard, who you may know from the Rick and Morty series. But it is about a rogue nun who hunts witches.
That sounds fun.
I mean, it's got covers from some of the best cover artists out there right now. And it's written by Teenie Howard. It's her book. And it is absolutely amazing. So if you're a big fan of like The Last Witch Hunter or anything related really to like kind of that D&D feel, and then this would be absolutely a perfect book to check out. It's got very fun covers. The story is very action-packed. You get to know who Marian is. This could be up there with a comic book of the year, in my opinion.
Oh,
It could definitely be a top 10 contender, in my opinion.
cool.
Up there with like Exquisite Corpses and stuff like that.
Oh, Exquisite Corpses.
Which
Think about that.
we're going to get to that one, because that was another one that is phenomenal. But so that's my recommendations from Boom Studio. Fran gave you some recommendations from Argentina, which is really cool, and some Spanish comic books, which I'm personally going to check out, because I think it's really cool when you get to see comic books, or when you can get your hands on comic books from other countries. I think that's really cool to be able to do. And I've seen a few here lately that I'm really wanting to get my hands on from Italy. And
they do great horror.
Yeah, there's some phenomenal comic book writers and artists over there. I got one coming up a little later on who I think is absolutely amazing. But right now, we're going to be shifting from Boom Studios over to what could be one up there with some of the best horror genres out there, with EC Comics, which stands for Entertaining Comics, and Ani Press. They're kind of one and the same. Ani Press is with the EC stamp on it. So I consider them the same company, but I think they do different types of work, but not really. But they are definitely some masters of horror. And the very first one I'm going to recommend from them is called Blood Type. And this book is actually a spinoff from another book called Epitaphs from the Abyss, which is an anthology comic book written by various artists. And the writer of Blood Type is Karina Becco. I'm probably mispronouncing her name very badly, but the main character from Blood Type is actually from Epitaphs from the Abyss, which both of those comic books, Blood Type is about a vampire who finds her way to the Caribbean, to an island, like a tourist island, where people go missing all the time. So it's going to be remiss if a vampire starts taking a victim here and there to feed off of, because, well, this island, this resort island, is known for people disappearing.
Right.
Whether it be a shark or what have you, a drowning. So who's going to miss one or two tourists with a vampire feeding on people? But what she doesn't realize is that there's something else on the island who has also been doing that and was there before her and is now hunting her.
Nice.
So it is a very fun story. Karina, I think, is a very fun writer who brings different spins to things. And she did really, like, I loved her stories in Epitaphs from the Abyss, which, again, an anthology series of really dark and twisted horror stories, like whether it was bloody or gory or psychologically just a mind fuck. Epitaphs from the Abyss kind of had a little bit of everything in it. And so Epitaphs of the Abyss ended, and they brought out Catacombs of Torment, which replaced it, and it's the very same thing. It's just different. It's just a different name on the same book, basically.
Yeah, but
it's still written by
the same aesthetic, even.
It's the same aesthetic. It feels very 80s horror.
Yeah.
And that's what they're very much known for, is that 80s horror feel. Like all their comic books are that way. They look and smell and feel modern, but the content itself and the covers all feel very 1980s, 1970s. And that's what I really, really like about them. It's modern history or modern comic books with the historic look to them. And it's
Yeah.
really cool.
On that note, shout out to the cover artist for Epitaphs from the Abyss, Libermejo, who did a great job of sort of mixing his style that is very, very gritty, very, very. You can almost feel the grease on the skin of the characters, the blood on the, all the textures with these sort of more spectacular, gory, fantastical elements from 60s or 80s comic books.
So what's really cool is that EC Comics and Ani Press, they have sci-fi books like this as well. It's that modern feel to like a 1970s classic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was going to include that too because it's like sci-fi horror, but I left it off the list just to focus on the pure horror stuff.
Yeah, but they got like Cruel Universe and
Cruel Universe.
That's more. I think that is more like medieval oriented. No.
Well, it's like medieval. There's some dinosaurs in there. It's like Lost Planet almost, but with a horror feel to it. Medieval times with, again, like a horror feel to it.
Yeah.
But they're really good, but it's more sci-fi and medieval, like thriller. But again, beautiful stories, beautiful covers always, great artwork that is very modern, but also very retro at the same time.
Yeah.
And the last one I'm going to do from Ani Press, which is this story was absolutely amazing by Michael W. Conrad, and it is called Plague House.
Oh, I haven't heard about that one.
So basically, it's about a group of guys who go around cleansing haunted houses.
Oof, that sounds.
But the main guy who does the cleanses there's a dark spirit that has leached itself onto him. So it's basically following him. Yes, he did the exorcism on this one house where it couldn't be exorcised, but he managed to cleanse the house and to exorcise the house. But that spirit leached itself onto him. And now it's killing his friends and those close to him. And it was a phenomenal story. I had the chance to meet Michael W. Conrad at a recent Comic-Con, and I missed him. Where his booth was supposed to be, it was moved, and I never could find him. So I was very disappointed in that because I really wanted to get that #1 signed. It was, again, one of those books that felt very retro with the way the covers were done. And it was just such a good series. I think it was a 5-part series. I know it's out on trade paperback now, but it was just such a good story. It was like every time I would go to the comic shop and I knew it was going to be there, it gave you that brand new excitement because you're ready for that next part of the story, and it's not often that a story will pull you in like that and just like, damn, I got to wait like another month before the next issue comes out. But that one 100%.
Is it complete? Like, has it been released in full already, or is it still?
It is. No, I think it was like 5 issues or 4 issues.
It's short and sweet.
Yeah, short and sweet. It was like, I think 28 or 30 pages per book. The trade paperback is out, and it was such a good book. Like, highly, highly recommend that one to people. So next up, we're going to IDW, and they have a new kind of spinoff on theirs called IDW Dark. And then also I'm going to group in here another comic book company called Bad Idea, which is an indie publisher. And this is going to be kind of a sci-fi horror-esque. But first up, we're going to do from Bad Idea, a
Mhm.
book called Cul-de-sac. We were talking a little bit about this before we
Oh.
went live, and this book is scary as shit. Like, the idea of this book is kind of the house from It.
Yeah.
The ones. So imagine the whole cul-de-sac kind of that way.
Oof. Okay.
It's
Okay.
those vibes, but there's like one normal family there, and and to close out the summer, they take all the kids in the neighborhood on a camping trip.
Mhm.
And on the camping trip, it's realized that some of the parents sacrifice their children, like a family must sacrifice their children to appease the demons that haunt the cul-de-sac, basically.
Right. That sounds like a
So
promise.
it's a trippy book, man. And like I live in a cul-de-sac, so it's kind of like,
Yeah, and the covers are
gee,
very nightmarish, honestly. Like
dude, it's the one cover with the monster with the nails
it's
coming in. I have that cover. Like I had to, that was like the cover I had to get, and it is absolutely a terrifying cover and a fun, weird, quirky story that literally gives you a lasting impression, and it's amazing.
awesome.
So now I got two up from IDW. IDW is dipping their toes into the horror genre, and the very first one I'm going to do is a story from she appeared on Ghost, or I think the name of this TV series was Ghost. She's done other little smaller roles on TV,
Mm-hmm.
but her name is Hannah Rose May,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the Exorcism at 1600 Penn. And for those who are watching this later, 1600 Penn is the White House.
Oh, I think
So
yeah.
basically, the president is a female, and her husband is the first man, or wherever you want to call him, the first lad. And their daughter gets possessed by a demon who wants to start World War III through nuclear holocaust, basically.
Nice.
And so the whole premise of, I think there's like 5 issues or 6 issues, something like that. But the whole story is about them trying to exorcise the demon from her daughter to prevent World War III from happening. Well, they're trying to stop World War III from happening while also trying to exorcise the demon from their daughter. And like while they're trying to do that, their focus is obviously on their daughter, but the world around us is going to shit in a handbag.
That's great because it sort of mixes the elements that I love from like the more supernatural aspects with the more like post-apocalyptic stories like the war in Hello Darkness from Garth Ennis or
Yes.
and that's
Or
a perfect match of this sort of thing that I love.
like News from the Fallout that has just come
News
out.
from the Fallout, yeah, I've been following
It's
that.
really good. I didn't list it on here. I really didn't consider it horror. To me, it's more of a sci-fi ish, but it
Yeah,
is about zombies. So I guess we could have included it. It's from Image Comics, which I think we're going to be doing next. But it's a phenomenal ongoing series. So, but also from IDW Dark. It's a book that I was supposed to talk about with CJ Loves Horror, but we had to cancel that show. Hopefully, we can circle back to it. But it is called Event Horizon Dark Descent by Christian Ward. It is exactly what you think it is. It is based off the movie and the book of Event Horizon, but it takes place within the universe, and it kind of gives you more of the details of the individuals from the book or the movie as they go crazy.
Nice.
So
Nice.
it's
Sounds
giving you
like
different
nice cosmic
character
horror.
perspectives of their descent into madness.
Nice.
And
But it's
before they
sort of,
start killing themselves, or
I was
killing each other.
I was curious about that one because I know the IP from back when I was like a kid, and I was wondering whether it sort of expanded the story, like as
They
in
did. It's an
sequel.
expansion of the story.
Oh, it sort of adapts and expands rather than follow up the story.
That's right. It's just literally taking place within that universe on the
Oh,
same ship, everything. It's really fun. Issue 2 just came out, I think, last week. So I haven't had a chance to sit down and read it yet. But that's
mhm.
100% on my list to read here soon. Probably be with the very first one I read when I start reading in October. So, but now we're going over to what can only be defined as the Masters of the Macabre, and that's Image Comics.
Oh yeah.
And we're going to start with another James Tynion book called Exquisite Corpses. Is it horror?
Yeah.
Kind of, kind of. And here's why I listed it in horror. Think of it as shit. What's the name of that movie where once a year you can kill people, you can
Oh yeah,
rob?
yeah, I know.
It's
It-
basically like that.
yeah.
But basically, what happens is the power families in the United States every year pick a small town and they drop the most dangerous, most murderous people that they can get their hands on. And they drop them in this small town and basically let them run amok. They can kill, they can rob. And it's basically the last man standing in the town is the winner.
Yeah. And it's cool because it's got action. It's like a large uh, ensemble cast of uh, slasher killers.
Yes,
Right?
yes,
It's like
exactly.
Scream meets I don't know, Chainsaw Massacre meets, and it's all of them sort of versus each other. It's really
Yes.
fun. It's really really
And
fun.
here's what is the coolest part about it. James Tynion, Michael Walsh, the two guys who are writing it together, they got together, created a card game based off Exquisite Corpses.
Mhm.
And they're playing the card game to determine who dies next in the comic book.
Nice. Now that explains because here's a. I'm not spoiling it, right? But at the end of each issue, you got that sort of tier list with the versus the name of each killer versus the name of the other killer, and then you go to the next round whenever each one kills another one, and
Yep.
it's fun because you start to see when you're sort of anticipating who the finalists are going to be.
So the only people who know are the ones who are playing the game with Tynion and Michael Walsh. And it's literally, I don't know if they're still playing the game or if they played it in one go to determine the order of the deaths,
Mhm.
or if they still get together once a week and determine, like, hey, let's play and see who's going to die next. I'm not sure. But there's also a polybag variant where you get a card from the game, like a killer's card. So at
Mhm.
the end of it, if you have all the polybags, you have all the killer's cards, and you can play the game yourself.
Nice.
So it's kind of cool. And I put that on here, but it is more of a thriller, more. I consider it horror. I know some people aren't liking it, some
Yeah.
people aren't feeling it. I personally have loved it from issue 1, and I will put it in the top 10 at the end of the year, easily, hands down in my top 10.
Yeah. I think if you like slasher horror movies,
Yes, if you
particularly if
like
you like
Jason and Freddy
exactly,
Krueger, Michael Myers, imagine dropping all of them in a small town and just letting them run amok, and the last man standing is the winner.
exactly. I think if you like this sort of sub-genre of horror, you're going to love this comic book.
Absolutely. So next, we're going over to one of my favorite streets. and it's going to be from Ghost Machine and Image Comics, written by Jeff Johns. It is going to be Hyde Street.
Oh yeah.
So it's
I've heard about
the horror comic from Ghost Machine. It also currently has a spinoff called Sisterhood,
it.
and it also has another spinoff called Devout. There's been a few one-shots, but Hyde Street is the main book from it, and that's the one I chose to focus on.
Mhm.
Again, it's from the legendary Jeff Johns, and I know they have a crossover coming up soon with a cover crossover coming up with Batman, with Jim Lee and Jeff Johns doing covers for each other, and it's going to be an amazing cover. Already know that. And but Hyde Street is really fun. It's like a different kind of story each week, but it pretty much focuses on the same group of characters. It just has a different feel to it each issue. You have the matinee monster, which is like Frankenstein's monster. You have Mr. X-Ray, who is I think he's a time jumper,
Mhm.
and he jumped into the wrong time, basically.
Oh,
But he's also a serial killer. Then you have I think his name is Scrappy the Boy Scout, who is possessed by a demon,
Mhm.
who's always causing chaos and unrest in the city. And it's just a fun comic book from Jeff Johns and Ghost Machine. And dude, it's just so good. I cannot recommend checking it out enough. I think the first trade paperback is out already on it. So if you wanted to pick up the trade paperback and read the first 5 or 6 issues, you could. But it's Jeff Johns, dude. The
yeah,
dude's
it's Jeff Johns.
just a
And Ghost Machine
phenomenal
has been-
writer.
And Ghost Machine as a whole has been putting out some great titles.
Just great, amazing titles, from
very original
Rockefellers to Redcoat to Geiger,
Geiger is probably my favorite.
Junkyard Joe. Geiger's
Also-
probably my favorite. Redcoat's been really good. Rockefellers is a fun one, just from a perspective of what it is. It's like a future family came back into our time to get away from somebody trying to kill them. So they brought all their futuristic madness with them to our time. And it's just a fun series. But Ghost Machine is absolutely killing it, and Hyde Street is their horror book from Ghost Machine. Chef Kiss, Jeff Johns, check that one out. So next up, I'm going to Xander Cannon's Sleep. That's the title of the book, is Sleep. The main character, every time he falls asleep, he becomes a monster.
Oh, nice.
So it is really damn good. Xander Cannon, he come out of nowhere. I've never heard of him before. But this book has been something truly special. I cannot recommend it to you enough. I think it's like on 5 or 6 issues right now, which I think I think I just read the finale, and I think it was at issue 6.
Okay.
But it was really damn good.
And it's got these I'm checking it out right now. It's got these very, like, it's not your traditional American comic book or
It's not
art style either. It's more indie feel.
Yes, it's very much, it feels 100% indie, which is something Image is known for. And I really enjoyed the way the art was done. It's kind of like a black, white, and red. And it was a fun story, a different type of story. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. Xander Cannon gets kudos, man, because that was a rock star story. So up next is going to be something that I think everybody will like and enjoy, and that's going to be Universal Monsters.
Oh, that
So all of the monsters are now released, including the Invisible Man, which is running right now. It was written by different artists. The art was done by the same people per series. My favorite so far has been The Mummy. And if you listen to my episode with Christopher Ford and Dark Pink Comics, we both gave that one high regards because we're both fans of the Universal Monsters. And yeah, I can't say enough about it. Check them out. They're all on trade paperback right now, minus The Invisible Man. And that's only because it's still ongoing.
And that one is being written by Tinian, right?
Yes, absolutely. The Invisible Man is being written by Tinian as well.
And he's putting out a lot of
Dude,
work.
he writes so much. And I skipped one. I didn't mean to skip. It's going to be Doug Wagner's I Was a Fashion School Serial Killer. So think of it as Dahmer, Gacy. If they had a young, beautiful daughter, and that's what this book is. She goes to fashion school, and her medium of choice is human skin.
That's so
like she's trying to be on her best behavior. Her name is Rennie, and but she doesn't like when people mess with her friends or her life. So
also, you've got like a Dexter element to you.
Very much a Dexter element to it as well. However, she will skin you and then turn you into fashion. But it is such a fun story.
That's a great.
It's Doug Wagner. I don't know if you're familiar.
This is my story. It's.
I don't know if you're familiar with Doug Wagner, but he is a phenomenal writer. And this story was right up his alley. It was perfect. It's his story. So it is, God damn, it's so fun. Like the covers were phenomenal. The stories were phenomenal. Just Rennie growing as a person, but also still having that itch to kill. You know what I'm saying? But she's trying. She's trying really hard to change. But God forbid you upset one of her friends because she's going to skin you and turn you into fashion.
I love it.
Very fun story. So the next one is one we were talking about a little bit earlier, and that's going to be World Tree.
Oof.
Also by Tinian. But if you thought the internet was your friend, you are wrong. So in this book, there's 3 layers of the internet. There's the internet, the dark net, and then there is the undernet, where our killer lives in World Tree. So basically, in the first arc of World Tree, killer is in the undernet, and she kills people. Like creatively, she's a axe murderer. She is a sociopathic killer. But is she a real person? She is, or she was rather, before she died and got sucked into the undernet, her conscious. In part 2, in the second arc of World Tree, they're discovering that she was in fact a real person at one point, and what happened to her in the first one is the reason why she is killing people. It's a fun story. It's 2 arcs deep currently, and it's just such an intriguing story with a new spin on a new fear of the internet. You know,
what I love is that it picks up some of the themes, like I was saying earlier. It picks up some of the themes that Tinian loves, which is this sort of the mimetic nature of things on the internet, how easily they spread.
Yes.
Cosmic horror, because ultimately what happens.
Did you ever seen a movie from the 80s, or it might have come out in the 70s, called The Lawnmower Man?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So it very much similar to this story, only modern day for the internet.
Right.
So it's really cool, really fun. The next book up is by Marguerite Bennett, and it is called Mommy Blog.
That one I didn't even hear about before now.
I'm not for sure if this was a one shot or what, but basically it's about suburban moms and stay-at-home moms who want this perfect suburban family, perfect suburban children, and they will stop at nothing to have that perfect child, that perfect family, that perfect house, even murdering those who don't fit into their neighborhood.
Oh, I love the sort of suburban horror sort of stories where it's all about keeping appearances, and it feels like, I think there's plenty of, well, TV series right now that sort of touch into those topics.
I think there was a movie with Shia LaBeouf called Suburbia, very similar to that statement,
Yeah,
and where the
yeah,
neighbor,
I
he
know.
thinks his neighbor is a killer, but he's on house arrest, so he's not really supposed to be. He just keeps getting himself in trouble.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a pretty good movie. But it's all about like keeping up appearances, but she's not afraid to spill a little blood. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it was just a fun book. Was it really horror? Yeah, I mean, if you consider suburban moms killing people because they're dirtying up her neighborhood, then yeah, absolutely. Because it's just blatantly murder, in public, just, know. But next up is going to be one of our favorite books, and probably the book that really connected us and gave us the idea for this show, and that's going to be The Deviant.
Oh yeah, awesome book. I think those who like was like the Zodiac movie, or
The Y2K killer or B2K killer or whatever it is, the Black Dahlia.
Yeah, I think they're going to love this one because it feels very much in the same vein.
Yeah, and it closed out earlier this year with the finale, and then they released kind of like a prequel to it called can't remember the name of it, but it was like something Hall H, but it's about it takes place at a Comic-Con again, and but it's a fun little, like, I think it's like a one-shot kind of prequel to The Deviant. But The Deviant is amazing. There's a man that goes into jail who they think is the Deviant killer. However,
it's great too that it feels like a drama as well. It's not just horror, it's a drama underneath it.
It really is. There's some drama between the lovers, who are, one of them's the actual killer and the other one takes I guess he takes the bullet for the killer and goes to jail. But it is such a fun book. Like, I cannot stress enough how great this book was.
Yeah.
And next up,
artwork, very atmospheric.
Yeah,
definitely up there in my list for comics this year.
I don't want to say it was a world build, but it was an atmosphere to the book.
Yeah.
Like, it had that, like, it felt like the environment was built for a serial killer.
Yeah.
Like, the vibe from book 1 to book, I think 6 or 7. No, it went 9, I think.
I think yeah, something around 9 or 10 issues.
But it was just such a phenomenal series. Like, I cannot recommend it enough. It's on trade paperback right now. You can get your hands on a copy. Please read this book. And it's just going to be perfect in time. If you order it now, you can get it and read it for Christmas and let it give you some creepy nightmares.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But next up is going to be Creepshow. It's been written by various artists throughout the years, drawn by various artists. It's an anthology, usually 2 to 3 stories, depending on the issue. They do, they had a Valentine's issue. They do one for Christmas. He kind of ebbs and flows. Like, it'll end, you give it a couple of cycles, and it pops right back up. Like, they just released new issues for Halloween. But it's just a phenomenal series. I think it's been around since the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
So it has the longevity, it has the leads, and the creep is just one of those perfect characters.
Yeah.
And
Very easily recognizable, very iconic. That's the word. It's very
absolutely.
iconic.
Absolutely. And if you watch the TV show back in the day, Tales from the Crypt, that's the creep. And dude, it's a chef's kiss on top of a chef's kiss. They always have like phenomenal writers, phenomenal artists. Some of the best cover guys in the world do the covers for it. And it's always just so good and so fun to get to see the creep with all the longevity that he has still going strong.
Yeah, yeah. I think part of the success of that series beyond the horror elements is that this tongue-in-cheek element to it, right? Like they don't take it themselves too seriously, but they are still able to deliver on the scares.
And it's never like the scares are, it depends. There are lessons learned. There's always something unique about it. You know, the stories.
Yeah,
Like some type of lesson will come out of the story. It's just so fun. Like I cannot recommend. Like you could just go pick up a trade paperback of Creepshow, Volume 1, Volume 2. It doesn't matter. Just grab a trade paperback of Creepshow and just let it take you for a ride.
yeah, yeah.
Like some of my favorite ones are the Christmas special edition. It's like we do for Christmas, but it's about greed and lust and vanity, and it's just perfect Christmas time horror.
Yeah, it's like
Those will always be some of my favorite issues.
it's like a dark spin on "It's a Wonderful Life."
Yes.
Or A Christmas Tale. It's got
Yes.
that. It's that, but twisted. And yeah,
It's taking a wholesome story and giving it a evil twist. I love it. It's absolutely like top-notch storytelling. But last up from Image Comics is going to be what was a one-shot. And it wasn't just a one-shot. It was magazine-sized. And it's going to be called Blood Train by Adam Glass. Very much the movie with Vinnie Jones, the Last Stop or whatever it was, where he was feeding the demon at the end of the rail line.
Mm-hmm.
It's very much that kind of feel, but it was just if you want blood, you want the gore, you want a jump scare in a comic book, this book had everything. If you're into the gory, bloody comic books, because this is literally called Blood Train, and from cover to cover, it is that. It's about a group of friends who get on a train and they start dying one by one by one. And not just a simple death like, oh, he died. Oh, he was poisoned. No. We're talking eaten, ripped apart by the limbs, just a bloody, gory, holy shit. But Adam Glass absolutely delivered it on the book. It's odd because Image doesn't print a lot of magazine-sized books, but they did on this one. It's called Blood Train. If you go to image.com, you can probably buy it. But I thought this was an absolutely phenomenal book.
I'm definitely adding that one to my pull list.
But that's all I have for Image. Again, Image always has good horror, and they will always be home to the indie creators, which I love, that you can just submit a book to them and they will tell you yes or no, and they will give you feedback if they say no. So if you submit a book to Image Comics and they say no, they're going to spell it out for you. Like, oh, the art wasn't there, or hey, you need to go back and like refine this and resubmit later. So they're very good about that kind of stuff. And I will always give my love and my money It's Image Comics. So next up, this is going to be our last stop on the horror coffin, and that's going to be just some indie nightmares, man. We're talking stuff from Vault Comics, from the Keen Spot, some from Dark Horse, some from Zenscope, and a special book from DC Dark, which really didn't need to be in the indie all others, but because it's such a new concept at DC, I put it down there. And we're going to start with it, and it's a follow-up to a previous book called The Nice House by the Lake, and this is the Nice House by the Sea. It's written by Jeff Loeb and James Tynion IV, of course. So basically, these books are about the houses, not necessarily the people, even though the people play a big part of it, but it's about the house itself and the way it has the ability to warp and twist people and reshape people. It was a fun series. I think it was like 5 or 6 issues. I know you can get both the Nice House by the Lake and the Nice House by the Sea, both of them in trade paperback. Both absolutely worth your money.
Yeah, I would recommend buying both together because you can get lost with the number of characters.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the characters are not the same. The house isn't the same.
Yeah.
Same concept, same types of scenarios.
Sort of same universe.
Yeah.
I don't want to say too much, but it's sort of the same cinematic comic universe.
Yes. But they're both just so much fun. Start with the House by the Lake first. I think that was a lot more gorier and sadistic
and
than
darker.
the Nice House, and darker, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I like it a lot more than the one by the sea.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I preferred the Nice House by the Lake, but the Nice House by the Sea also still a very good book.
Yeah.
Not to be missed.
Artwork too.
Dude, some of the best artwork you'll see. Had some of the coolest covers, especially the Nice House by the Lake.
Yeah.
Had some of the grimiest, like, disgustingest fucking covers that you could put on a comic book. But they were great reads. I highly recommend you checking both out. But since I wanted to keep it 2025, that's why I went with the Nice House by the Sea.
Right.
But definitely check both out.
And especially also if you like cosmic horror, because
very much
is a very, very central stage.
Yes. It's also so there's a new book out from, I want to say it's from Ani Press. It's called Benjamin. It's not really horror, it's more sci-fi, but a guy, he dies, right? Like he knows for a fact that he is dead, but he wakes up.
Okay.
Yeah. He wakes up and finds himself in a random building downtown. And he makes his way back. It's like a sci-fi, I don't want to call it a horror, but the guy basically gets a new start at life.
Okay.
But he remembers dying.
It's interesting because usually that sort of setup is played from a different perspective where people see their loved ones come back to life. And that story
is 100%
told
through the eyes of the character Benjamin, who is the main character.
Spectacular.
And it's absolutely amazing, but it's got that element to it, that sci-fi world element to it. But I didn't put it in here because I did consider it more sci-fi,
right.
Even though the guy knows he's dead and knows he's given a second chance at life for some reason. Is figuring out the reason why he's been brought back.
Right.
So it's really cool.
A recommendation there because it's also
absolutely
sort of blurs the line between sci-fi and horror, and that's Department of Truth, which is also casual.
Dude,
and it's still coming out.
Perfect one.
Spectacular. It's also very I would say it's also cosmic horror because it got these over. It taps into something that is
I mean, it explores the death.
unknowledgeable.
It explores the assassination of Robert Kennedy. It explores the death of Elvis Presley. It explores aliens.
Instead of Marian Walker.
Basically, dude, the Department of Truth, and I'm glad you brought that up. It's also a Tinian, but oh my god, it's
Yeah,
really it's all over the place, kind of,
yeah. It's
but
every
it works.
yeah. It's every conspiracy theory rolled into one large story that sort of connects them all,
Yes,
which is great.
which
It's
I
awesome.
have first print issue 1, Department of Truth, signed by Tinian,
Oof.
slabbed and on my shelf over here.
That's a treasure, right?
And when I found it, it was when the Department of Truth kind of was on that skid in the lower price realm.
Mhm.
So I was able to get it for less than $100. So I was
That's
not
and
upset with it
it
at all.
should be
Anytime
priced.
you can get a good deal on a slab comic like the Department of Truth, or
Mhm.
really anything signed by Tinian, which I know Tinian is doing a sign-in tonight at one of the comic shops, I think in New York,
Mhm.
with the whole Tiny Onion crew. So I think that's really cool. So if you're up there, I think it's called One Eye Comets or something like that. Tinian is there with the Exquisite Corpses crew and the Tiny Onion crew doing autographs. I'm jealous of all of you. Go get autographs out there. Which I've not got to meet him. I really want to meet him and just to be able to shake his hand and be like, dude, you are redefining and defining what it is to do comic books.
Yeah.
Granted, he gets some hits and some misses in there, but for the most part, I don't think he's really missed.
Yeah, no, I think for the most part, there's another one that I haven't read yet, but I've heard lots of good things about, which
What is
is
it?
Spectre Graph.
Okay, yeah, no, I've heard about that one. I haven't read it yet.
Yeah, and that one I want to read because it again it's also he sort of touches on several of the same themes along his bibliography, um, but he always finds a different in for those topics.
He
So
does. He has a really good way of blending genres. I
yeah,
think horror is really his horror with a sci-fi edge to it. It's
hmm,
kind of like his forte.
yeah.
But up next, we're going to go to Zenscope. It's going to be Grim Tales of Terror. It's mainly written by Joe Bruscia. It
Mhm.
always has really great art, really great covers, and basically, it's all the he what he does is take urban legends and puts a spin on the urban legends.
Oh, nice.
And
That,
it's he does use the female covers to his advantage to sell, even though they're not the character. Well, they can be the characters in the book, and they are often. But it is, I don't know, dude. It's one of those where he could put anything on the cover, and the story is going to be good. Like he
hmm,
did, yeah, what was the last one he did that I can remember? Like the Devil's Cheer in Florida.
hmm.
He wrote a story about that. It was it's really cool. He just takes these really cool urban legends and urban myths and puts them in a real world scenario into a story. If that makes any sense, he just does it in a really cool way.
Yeah, it's fun because it's also it's like the same technique, let's say that Tinian uses for conspiracy theories, he uses for urban legends, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely. And he just does it in a way that, like, I don't know, man. I just really enjoy what Grim Tales of Terror does with urban legends and like the redefining it, and making it
Mhm.
something this is the same, but it feels different, you know. But up next, I want to go to Dark Horse, and it's going to be a book called, I don't know if this came out in 2025 or 2024, but it's by Clay McLeod Chapman, who is a brilliant horror writer. Like, his horror books are some of the best I've ever read. But the name of the comic book is called Seance in the Asylum. So think of it like it's one of the seasons of that show on FX.
American Horror Story.
American Horror Story.
Right.
With this one where they're in the asylum.
Mm-hmm.
Think of it like that, only from a exorcism point of view.
Nice.
And that's what you get with Seance in the Asylum. And it's like, are these people dead? Are they alive? The lines become so blurred for your main character that they don't know anymore.
It feels like it's a bit like gothic horror element.
It's very much got a good gothic horror element to it. And Clay McLeod Chapman, a very nice guy, very awesome guy. He's always full of energy whenever if you follow him on Instagram. He's just a really cool dude, very humble. But I know there's been multiple short stories made out of his or short movies made out of his books. And he just, like, I think he's got a movie coming out based off his book called Ghost Eaters, I think is the name of it. So I wanted to shameless plug, not just because I love the comic book, also just because I think he's a phenomenal writer in general. So shameless plug, Clay McLeod Chapman. Check out his horror stuff because he does it so damn good. But also from Dark Horse is going to be another Tinian book called Let This One Be a Devil. It's basically about the urban legend of the Jersey Devil, about a lady who gave birth to a demon child that turned into the Jersey Devil. And it's just it's basically, it gives you the story of how the urban legend of the Jersey Devil came to life. And I want to say he's doing a whole series based off of excuse me, I'm so sorry, about urban legends like that. But he started with the Jersey Devil.
Well, once again, you see, it's the same thing where he's picking these themes that he's interested in. He's interested in conspiracy theories. He's interested in these sort of urban legends. I like that when writers, especially horror writers, do that. They bring.
And he does it like better than anybody else.
Yeah, and he's doing it consistently great.
Yeah, like I know he's got a phenomenal team with him at Tiny Onion, and they together have put together something special over there. But next up, we're going to go to we're still in Dark Horse. It's going to be Mark Miller's, Mark Miller, Vatican City. Now I'm putting it on here, even though I was disappointed that it was only a 4-issue run. But it's about a group, like, basically the world ended because of vampires.
Okay.
And there's an artifact buried deep within the Vatican that they need and they want. So basically the vampires sweep the planet of all human life, except for those within the walls of the Vatican, which is the sacredest of sacred ground that they cannot enter on their own. So basically it's 4 issues of them trying to get the humans to become one of them by going to get this artifact that they want. But it got rushed because I know Mark Miller was going to trying to close out projects so he could go work on a bigger project, which I think is a TV series. Well,
he always, the one thing that Mark Miller, whenever he actually sort of what's the expression, like he actually locks in.
Yes,
he delivers consistently good, like blockbuster film, like comics that feel like a blockbuster film,
No,
right?
absolutely. And I think that's why he
Bugsy in
left, is
there is great.
because
When he
somebody
doesn't
was
work,
taking one of his comic books and converting it to film, and
yeah,
he's the producer on it. So
right,
I think that's why he rushed this book, because it only got 4 issues, which honestly it was a little disappointing. It still had a good ending, but it was one of those where if we could have got 2 more issues, I think it would have been even better.
right, yeah,
So I'm recommending it simply because it's Mark Miller, and I think Mark Miller is probably up there with Tinian as far as writing goes. But with him, he has to be locked in.
yeah. He has to be locked in, totally.
So next up is going to be a new one to this, and it's going to be from Zach Kaplan, Dark Horse Comics, and it's called Masterminds. And this one is another technological horror thriller where a young up-and-comer, like brand new billionaire tech genius is invited to a secret underground club for the ultra wealthy tech billionaires. And basically from there, it just like starts going to shit. It becomes like nightmare fuel from a tech perspective. And like the him trying to get into this club and like what he must go through to be a part of this club. It goes haywire, basically. So I'll leave it at that. But the covers are really cool. The art is phenomenal. Zach Kaplan, I think, is a phenomenal writer. But up next, we're going to Italy, my friend. And I think so. I just found this year there are a lot, and I do mean a lot, of really, really good Italian writers and artists.
Oh yeah,
Like phenomenal. Like they're top notch. Like, where have they been all my life, and why didn't I know they existed? I mean, you know there are like a lot of good artists in Europe and a lot of good writers in Europe. But I'm disappointed that I'm just now discovering them in 2025 when I could have been enjoying them a lot longer.
better late than never, right?
You're absolutely right. But so this one is going to be called Don't Run with Scissors, and it's by Francesca Perillo. Yeah, I think it's Perillo. And it's by the Keen Spot. And basically it's about a small town sheriff who, like, all of a sudden murders start happening in the city and that kind of stuff. But it has really fun, quirky covers by the main artist. It was just such a good series. I don't want to give a lot of it away, but if you're into like small town, like murders and that kind of stuff, but with a sci-fi horror twist to it, this is the perfect story. Francesca, like I've discovered some of her other writings as well since then, and she's brilliant. And I hate myself for not knowing about her sooner.
I have to check that one out. I'm certain that Italian comic books are.
I think she writes other things as well.
Yeah, I think some European comics get here more so.
I think we're being cheated out of a lot of good comic books right now because the postage is so high to get stuff over here. But I really do want to go back and start finding more of the Italian stuff, especially their horror, because it's different and it's fun.
Yeah.
And not only them, but Portugal as well, I think has some good ones. Portugal, but next up, France, the UK, I know for a fact has a lot of really good, talented writers and artists, and I know a handful of them. I've had them on the show before. So, but yeah, we need more of them. I want to discover more of them.
Yeah.
But next up, we're staying in the Keen Spot. That's KEENSPOT. Very much an indie publisher, and very much, I think, producing some really good work this year. This has probably been one of their best years I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
And the next one is going to be from Mark Spears. Yes, that Mark Spears, who produces some of the coolest villain covers you will ever lay your eyes upon. He has such a unique way with how he draws villains. He's okay drawing heroes, but his money to me is with villains and monsters. And that's the name of the comic book we're going to be talking about. It's Monsters. Think Universal Monsters. They're all there. This story takes place in a small town, and these kids discover Mr. Crowley's house, and the Wolfman and Frankenstein, the Bride of Frankenstein. There's vampires, you name it. It's his own really cool spin. So basically, back in the day, he made a board game or a card game based off the Universal Monsters. He then turned that card game into this comic book called Monsters. It started out on Kickstarter. Like issue 1, the only way you could get it originally was through Kickstarter. It got funded. Then the Keen Spot was like, hey, we want it. Can we pick it up from you and print it for you and do all that? And hence now the Keen Spot has Monsters. They rolled the dice, and it come up perfect because this book has just been amazing. A really cool story told from Mark Spears. The art's amazing, of course, because it's Monsters and it's done by Mark Spears. But yeah, it's very special and it's very cool. And I'm going to end this with something from Vault Comics, which I think Vault is very much underrated from a sci-fi and horror related fields. I think they could be bigger than what they are. And that's just based off what they've done this year. And that's going to be a book called Lilith, and it's by Corin Howell. It's basically about the demon Lilith, and she's after this book that is owned by this young lady, but she needs that book to get herself back to hell. It's a fun story. There was a hiccup with the printing on issue 3, I think. So it almost didn't get finished because I don't think they really wanted to go back and fix the misprint. But thankfully they did. It delayed it about 4 months or 5 months, I think. But then it finally got back on track and they finished it. But I know it's been renewed for a part 2. But Corin Howell, she's a phenomenal writer, phenomenal artist. She worked with a lot of really cool cover artists on this book. So she's going to take home what essentially is my last spot for my horror comics for 2025. But this one's literally about a Lilith, the demon Lilith. And it's bloody, it's gross. It's got some S&M elements to it, some BDSM type of murders to it. It was a really fun comic book. But that's
all comics actually has. There's one comic that it's not from this year, but I want to throw the name in because I think it went overlooked, like you said. I think it came out in 2020, and it was named Black Stars Above. And it's it happens in Canada, I think. And it takes place within a snowstorm. When you have the spirits of the indigenous people from Canada believe in, and they interact with it. It got a cosmic horror element to it. I don't know how to sell it because it's very unique, but it definitely.
I love those types of stories, like anything related to indigenous, like Skinwalkers, which I think came out last year. It was part of 2024. Was a book called Skinwalkers, and then there was the Bone something, which is very much similar, or the Bone Ethos or something like that, which is another like supernatural horror to it that I thought was brilliantly done. And it was a part of another story. It was like the prequel to it or something.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what it was, but the Bone Ethos, I think, was the name of the story. But it was kind of like a line of a comic books that went together and told a big story.
Oh, the
And it was
Bone Orchard mythos, right?
yeah, the Born Orchids. Yeah,
Yeah. I heard about that one.
that
Well,
one was
for some reason,
really good.
I think
And
it's
then
something.
it kind of went along with like the Skinwalkers and that kind of stuff, which I thought was another really brilliant sci-fi horror adventure type of comic book where they literally is based off of the Skinwalkers Ranch, which
Mm-hmm.
it was a TV series. Is basically like what they think they experienced. So it's been some really great horror comic books over the last couple of years, and I kept this just to 2025
Yeah, because there's so many.
because I mean we could do a 2 or 3 hour show really, and I wanted to keep it about about an hour, hour and a half, and we're at an hour and a half now, which I think is perfect. And I did 2025 because I wanted people to be able to still get their hands on these books, whether eBay, they can still probably get a lot of these from their local comic book shops, or they can order online. So I hope people found something or heard something that they will enjoy and pick up, and let us know what they picked up because that would be really dope. You got any more recommendations before we sign off, Fran?
A little known comic book. There's a comic book author named Emily Carroll, and she has put out a new book that came out, I think, last month or something like that, named A Guest in the House. Oh, sorry, no, it came out 2 years ago. Well, whatever.
Okay.
I only learned about it last month. And she does some great horror that sometimes touches into the gothic horror subgenre, sometimes it's more body horror inspired. There's definitely a psychological aspect to it. One of her stories was adapted into an episode of this Guillermo del Toro produced Netflix
Oh,
series.
okay. The Cabinet of Curiosities.
Yeah, she's a great horror writer, a great horror artist too, with a very particular style. A Guest in the House is her most recent book.
No, that was the one with the actor who played Ronald Weasley. He was the main character in that story.
No,
I
that one.
believe.
No, it was a different. It was a different.
Okay, it was one of
story.
the other ones. Okay,
Yeah.
but no,
I don't
that was
remember
one of
which
my favorite shows. I have that one favorited on Netflix.
one. I want to tell you which one it was. The outside, I think, was the episode
Okay,
that was adapted.
I'll go back and check it
I have
out.
to say, the comic book is even better. So if you
Okay,
get your hands on Through the
hey,
Woods,
send that to me after the show, and I want to check that
yeah.
one out. But that's all we have for the horror recommendations for 2025. I hope you found something that you would be interested in and pick it up. And if you do, make sure you let us know, man. Shoot us a reply on this on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram. Let us know what you picked up from the list if you decided to pick something up. But with that, Fran, tell everybody where they can find you.
Well, you can find me in Instagram at FAH Draws or as Francisco Hnilo everywhere. It starts with an H. It's easy to find. Yeah, and I'm drawing as a comic book artist on Vitalirium, which is a great sci-fi.
Amazing sci-fi series. You and
Yeah, Nick.
Nick. Holy shit. Thank you. Nicholas Keaton Casbaro. Phenomenal. I know he's doing the tour right now. He's been at so many cons this year. I'm super proud of the dude for coming into an element that he wasn't familiar with, both with just sci-fi writing in general and making a book and going, let's make it a comic book too. He's absolutely killed it on both sides of that. I know he's working on book 2 while simultaneously working with Fran here to do the comic book as well. So shout out to Nick. You're a boy. We love you over here. I know I talk to him probably once a month as well. So I try to keep in touch with people that have come on the show, and they've been 2 of my favorites, hence why Fran is here tonight. Fran, we're going to do this again soon. I promise you. But until then, and to all our listeners, keep those lights dim, your comic books bad, and remember, every good horror story begins with curiosity. So until next time, which will be tomorrow, we'll be back for another indie comic book review and interview with the writer tomorrow night, 7 p.m. So make sure y'all tune into that. But this is the chairman signing off from the United States Department of Nerds. Until next time, behave yourself out there, people.
It's a trap!